What were the box office winners and losers this weekend?
Mostly losers, more or less. First, the good news. Paramount's Smile had a shockingly good hold in its second weekend. It dropped just 22%, according to estimates, to earn approximately $17.5 million in its second weekend. That's the best hold for an R-rated horror film since Get Out in 2017, which dropped around 16% after a $33 million opening in early 2017. And it's actually a better hold than A Quiet Place, which dropped, I think, about 35% after a $50 million opening weekend. So smaller numbers, but still an incredible hold. This is a
Why do you think it was
$17
able
million
to?
film that's made 17 million a second weekend. This is a $17 million film that almost went to Paramount Plus. It was intended for Paramount Plus, but some strong test screening scores convinced Paramount to roll the dice on theatrical. And now the film's made 49 million domestic and 89 million worldwide in just 10 days.
Why do you think the film was able to hold so well?
Well, it's a crowd pleaser. It gets the job done. I mean, whether I liked it less than some of my peers, but whatever, that happens. Um, it has a number of jump scares. It's very reminiscent of films like The Ring, and if you're more in the art house crowd, It Follows, or if you're more in the grindhouse crowd, Drag Me to Hell. Um, the Ring was also an incredibly popular horror film 15 years ago, 2002. No, that 20 years ago. Oh my God, I'm an old man. 20 years ago, Gore Verbinski's remake of The Ring. It opened with approximately $15 million on 1,950 screens in early October. And then it added about 600 theaters in its second weekend, and then made another 18.5 million in its second weekend. It didn't drop below 10 million for a weekend until I think weekend six, give or take. That legged out to about $129 million. This film will probably not do that just because you've got Halloween Ends opening next weekend. And you have Black Adam and Ticket to Paradise opening the weekend after that, you know, hopefully will sort of kick the post-summer theatrical slump in the butt. Because right now what we've been seeing is an entirely distributor caused theatrical slump, because between Bullet Train and at best The Women King and Don't Worry Darling, and films that were never going to do that much more than over under $20 million, there just hasn't been much product out there. And I know I've discussed that almost every week, but the interesting thing about Smile is it may make less money than Halloween Ends, both on opening weekend, most likely, and overall. But in terms of the buzzy, zeitgeisty movie of the Halloween season, Smile is it. In the same way that, forgive me for the apples and oranges comparison, in the summer of 2000, Mission Impossible 2 was the biggest grossing movie of the summer. But in terms of pop culture impact and zeitgeist and buzz, Russell Crowe's Gladiator was arguably the movie of the summer.
So, what's more important, the buzz or the box office number there?
Well, generally speaking, buzz is useless if the film flops. So money has to come first. But you have a situation where a film can make less money than its rivals, than its competition, and still be sort of the one that everybody talks about. And if this is a case of real, online and real world buzz translating into word of mouth and ticket sales, and that seems to be the case because the numbers speak for themselves, then they're probably going to try to make a Smile too. And we may see what I like to call a breakout sequel, which is where a film is a hit, gets good reviews, good buzz, good word of mouth, is a box office success, but doesn't open huge and legs out the old-fashioned way, and is also rediscovered or discovered for the first time on DVD, Blu-ray, VOD streaming, what have you. And then a few years later, when the sequel comes out, all of that pent up and earned goodwill translates into a massive opening weekend for the first sequel. Examples: Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Pitch Perfect 2, John Wick Chapter 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, The Dark Knight, Scream 2, 25 years ago. The first Scream opened with $6 million. A year later, the second Scream opened with $33 million.